Hello, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden, and we are going to talk all things fun with trades today on Jays Latest. And why not start with what has become an embarrassment of riches all of a sudden? The Blue Jays projected to have probably one of the best pitching rotations in Major League Baseball. And with saying that, does that turn into a position of strength, or does it turn into a position that they can turn around and trade a few assets? In the midst of that, there could be more potential trading for getting pitching, and there could be more potential, just free agent signings. The Blue Jays are still linked to Tatsuya Amai, and with the wonderful fun that we talked about the other day, with the weirdest advertising stunt in Major League Baseball history of late, with the Blue Jays literally putting Blue Jays logos all over a Japanese boxing ring for one of the biggest Japanese fights in baseball, or in boxing. In that, so, but the question is, does Jose Berrios stay a Toronto Blue Jay right now? Because at the moment, it sounds like he's the guy that's on the outside looking in for some reason, which, as a Jose Berrios fan, I find that a little odd. But after a injury to end the season, the first time he's actually literally been injured and on the IL his entire Major League Baseball career, he seems to be like lost the luster or something like that from the Blue Jays management, maybe. The 31-year-old will make $18.7 million dollars and has a player opt out in 2027, which meaning he'll probably make $18.7 million dollars the following season as well. Um, he could be potentially traded literally just because of that. The Blue Jays trying to figure out where they're going to sustain a big winner. That is obviously a one big piece of the Dylan Cease argument with how he comes to this team and just instantly makes them good for the next few years, even after we lose Gossman and potentially, Rios at that point. You're going to lose Shane Bieber as well if you don't bring him back on some kind of a full, legit deal past his opt in this season, because that was what he did. So, on that note, the rotation is Trey Savage in 2027 along with Dylan Cease. Are we going to see some rookies come up? Yeah, of course. Ricky Tiedemann's going to be doing well. We probably will still have Eric Lauer. We got plenty of pitching prospects coming. Johnny King looks like he's going to be a nice one, too. I highly recommend checking him out. He had a nice Arizona Fall League. To that point, do you hold on to Berrios just for the fact that you're going to have somebody to give $18.7 million to in a playoff option in 2027? I could see the point using him as a trade chip, dangling him and seeing what we can get back, because maybe that fills some of these other holes that the Blue Jays are hoping to fill. But maybe this, trade market is better off than the free agent market for those points that they're looking at. And let's just talk that whole potential trade chip thing here for a minute, because this is the next piece to the puzzle here, and the Blue Jays have a lot to think about. In the model where the Blue Jays do not trade, do not lose Bo Bichette to free agency, this whole thing goes a lot differently. So let's just put that on the table right now. Bo Bichette resigns. You all of a sudden have an amazing embarrassment of riches at the shortstop position between top prospects Arjun Nimmala and JoJo Parker. Now, Blue Jays haven't even had JoJo Parker play at all, except for at the sports complex in Dunedin. He has not played any professional games because of the no short season thing. Thank you, Ron Manfred. So right now, Arjun Nimmala's stock is high. Do you trade Arjun Nimmala? Use JoJo Parker as your guy that's going to keep backing up. And like I said, if you hold on to Bo Bichette, this is a no-brainer, I think. As much as I am personally thinking that Arjun Nimmala is going to be one of the better players in baseball over the next few years. Do you trade him and get the guy you want? Do you turn around and get some big monster guy that's not even maybe even mentioned on the trade market at the moment? Or do you just go after it and go from there? The Blue Jays could do something sneaky like that and get a Steven Kwan, for example. Get a monster outfielder and be able to get him. But to that point, outfield is also the major point. The Blue Jays have a lot of the same player. I won't say crazy good. I won't say bad, because they're obviously playing Major League Baseball. But you have Davis Schneider, Miles Straw, Joey Loperfido, and company that maybe are going to be fighting for playing time. it worked out really well last year without having Anthony Santander in the mix. As long as he doesn't turn into that guy and Tony Wage theft there, Anthony Santander is going to be back into this lineup in one way or the other, and probably playing left field with George Springer de-aging. So what do you do in the aggregate? Okay, great. Maybe you grab somebody that's a little bit of a lineup igniter in Stephen Kwan. That this year's lineup could be very, very fun if you had Stephen Kwan right after George Springer, Vladdy, and everybody. So that could be very intriguing and very interesting. Next piece to that whole thing is the Blue Jays have been massively linked to Ketel Marte. I don't know how much I actually like going after Ketel Marte. Yes, he's a great player, but something just feels off to me, and I don't get it, and it's irking at me. I can't place it. He's a great ball player, but maybe it was just since the World Series for the Diamondbacks, something's off to me. And he is one of the better second basemen in baseball, so that would obviously lengthen out this lineup really, really well. But I am worried that he might be already in the decline, or there's something going on in between the ears. Like I said, I can't completely place it, but I don't know if I like the trade going after him and what I'd had to give up to bring in Ketel Marte just to compete now. I do think you have the aggregate of that potentially in the right places for the Blue Jays right now with Arjun Amala and JoJo Parker eventually here. And personally, right now, I'm very happy with the way Ernie Clement plays, and I have zero issue with him playing second base if Andres Jimenez moves over to short. So there is the other piece. And that equation also means that Addison Barger's playing third, which opens up an outfield spot. So there's a lot of nice little pieces that fall into place. Are those guys going to have the same seasons next year would be the contrary argument to any of that. And it's Ketel Marte raising the ceiling. So on that note, that's just how the cookie crumbles in the offseason. But those are the guys that I think are going to be available because the Blue Jays, like I said, could sign another pitcher tomorrow. Back up Cease and has something really locked up. You could, like I said, grab somebody like a Stephen Kwan type, move him into our outfield, and just watch it work. The Blue Jays actually were actively trying to get him, to the trade deadline, and it never turned out. So they were trying to package him in. It was what it sounded like with Shane Bieber from some of the rumors that were flying around. But that could be a good move because the Guardians, they're going to try and optimize the window on their giant monster prospects, Travis Manzana and Chase DeLutler. So it could make sense that they would go after somebody like, Namala to be able to turn around and get Stephen Kwan and see what happens. So on that, Blue Jays fans, hit us up in the comments. What do you think about Ketel Marte being mentioned in Blue Jays rumors? Who do you think that are the tradeable assets? Who would you like the Blue Jays to go trade? Hit us up in the comments. And we'll see who the Blue Jays could get in those fun trades that we talk about in the comments section. Appreciate it. We hope you had a great, wonderful American Thanksgiving here over the past couple of days and goof around, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Blue Jays.